to the Scam Slam channel. I'm here to bring you content from both shady and some not so shady individuals on TikTok. Ever scrolled through your For You page and come across a sketchy scam or a questionable character? Well, you're not alone, and that's where I come in. On this channel, I'll be diving deep into the world of TikTok to expose scams, scammers, and problematic content to steer clear of. From beggars, scammers, fakers, liars, abusers, and awareness creators that you watch, I'll be here to share it all. I'll be doing it all through showing live streams and adding in comments where appropriate. Be sure to look out for those red flags. So if you want to stay informed on what's really going on in the world of TikTok, then hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild ride. Let's expose the truth together, and reminder, don't send money to anyone on TikTok.
Damn, that's funny. Hello. Give me a second, I'm sending this out. Just a few. They are so fucked. The dumbest shit you could ever fucking do. Hello, hello, hello. You like the Three Stooges? Hello, 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 hello. Oh, that doctor's office is so fucked. So fucked. Beyond fucked. So fucked. Ay, 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 ay. Malpractice lawsuit. For numerous reasons. Miscommunication, and then they know why you have... I told them why I had problems with doctors and hospitals and why my anxiety... I told the truth about the fuck. I told them. You know what's interesting? I talked to the supervisor of that office today. I finally told her, I'm sorry what you went through, blah, blah, blah. And she hung up on me. That was a little while after that. After telling her that I got a letter on the app from her, but it was signed the doctor. Now, what's very interesting about this is they said they were no longer going to be taking me as a patient. Unfortunately, he doesn't always do this, but because of my outburst and violent behavior. Violent behavior where? When I was here sitting on my bed? And that he would no longer be seeing me as a patient, 30 days for emergencies, right? See, here's the problem. I called to try and get my records, to request my records. This call could not go through. This call could not go through with my actual phone number. My phone number is blocked from calling the hospital, that doctor's office, and any office affiliated with that fucking hospital. Isn't that fucking interesting? Isn't that very interesting? The lack of empathy and compassion. Then, everything else is... I just, again, was going to give it a chance and try to reason. And then, once I told her one of the things that happened to me, and then I got that letter, my phone is blocked. My number is blocked from calling to that hospital. Any of the offices affiliated with that hospital. The records department. I cannot call from my phone number. At all. Let's see if it works, shall we? So let's see. I will call on my regular phone and then I'll call on my backup number. Watch.
Sorry, but your call cannot be completed.
That is the hospital. That's the fucking hospital. Alright, I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna copy it. Go to my text now number, right? Go to calls. Paste.
Please hang up and dial 911. Please listen carefully as our options have changed. If you are a United Healthcare member and have questions about a future appointment, please contact your provider's office directly. If you are a United Healthcare member and have received a letter regarding contract negotiations and have
I'm not
questions
even
on
kidding.
how this will impact your access to
I
healthcare
copied and
services,
pasted the
please
number.
press 9.
My number is blocked from calling that doctor's
Thank you
office.
for calling Weill Cornell Medicine.
Weill Cornell Medicine.
Minimally invasive surgery. We are currently closed.
My number is blocked from calling. No, it's been completely canceled. Then, after me explaining why I react the way I do at certain things, because of things I've been through, I got a letter of completely terminating from the supervisor, supposedly from the doctor, terminating me as a patient for my outburst of violent behavior. But he would continue to see me on an emergency basis for the next 30 days, right? My phone number is blocked from calling the doctor's office, the hospital, any doctor's office affiliated with that hospital, the records department of that hospital. It is completely blocked. That's illegal. That's actually a lawsuit for malpractice. They are so fucked. Not to mention, in the letter, they were supposed to send me an actual certified letter with the doctor's signature. Yeah. Tell me they weren't going to try something. Tell me none of them's part of it. Please, please, please fucking tell me. Trust me, it's a good thing surgery's canceled. Because after all of this, yeah, I'm pretty sure my suspicions were right. Because, liquid diet for 24 hours before surgery, for this very minor surgery, and then it has to be moved to the main hospital, and it can't be done at the day surgery place. First excuse was, well, the anesthesiologist is afraid they won't be able to control your pain afterwards, after surgery. I called the OR, spoke to pre-op, they looked it up, they're like, they told you that? I'm like, yeah. We'll call you back. Nobody ever called me back. When I called it back to the office, I told the supervisor that that's what I was told. And then she tells me that the day surgery center is not equipped to do my surgery. What were they planning on doing to me? All they were supposed to do, go through the incision where I already had it, go right through right there, take it out, sew me back up, and voila, we're done. I wasn't even going to be put unconscious. I was going to be put in Twilight stage, whatever. And then a liquid diet for 24 hours before surgery. Think about that. And he told me I needed to do a liquid diet for 24 hours before surgery after I told him why about me in the file. Tell me something. If a patient were to pass on during surgery, what is the easiest way to get them to the morgue? Through the hospital? Or across the street at a day surgery place? When the morgue is in the hospital. Also, what happens when someone passes on? When they don't have anything but liquids in their diet, in their system for 24 hours before surgery? Well, then there's no mess, right? Oh, but he said I could have ice cream. Because I asked him if I could have ice cream. He's like, yeah, just nothing solid. I thought it was strange, but didn't. And then yesterday calling me saying they needed to reschedule for Monday because it had to be at the main hospital. After they told me it didn't have to be at the main hospital. Because it wasn't serious. This was very minor surgery. And now my phone number has been completely blocked from contacting even the hospital or any office associated with that hospital. And the doctor's office. After I told the supervisor to try and get her to understand. And do you know when a patient has an outburst, when they know why from trauma and that kind of thing, and they do that, what they did to me, that is malpractice? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just have a lawsuit. There's gonna be... Yeah, I gotta call... I'm calling and reporting the hospital tomorrow. I'm also going to be filing a complaint with the New York Medical Board. This don't fly with me. This, in no way, shape, or form does this motherfucking shit fly with me. And to send me that letter on the app, saying that the reason was my outburst and violent behavior. I was here in bed when I was on the phone with these people. What the fuck, violent behavior? I'm not a violent person, motherfucker. You want violence? Well, let's meet up. If you don't, that ain't violence. As far as I know, it came from her, not the doctor. So here we are. But, at this point, I'm pretty sure they're all involved. Yeah. Best hospital in New York, too. Supposedly. New York Presbyterian Hospital. Willie Cornell. Dr. Zanigar. And Annabelle, the nurse practitioner in endocrinology. And then the supervisor of that office. Yeah. Oh, and the administration, the patient administration that's supposed to help the patients. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do. That's a lie. That's your jobs, to do something about it. Oh, they are fucked. They're so fucked. So fucked. So fucked. So fucked. So yeah, I'm not having the surgery anytime soon. I will have the surgery when I know I'm safe to have it. Oh, excuse me, and then I don't have to worry about... Is the doctor going to try and take me out or not? Shit. This is not something anybody should have to fucking worry about. Now, my question is there something significant about Monday, the date Monday, on Monday, that is significant for the occult? There's a reason I'm asking, obviously. They were hell-bent on it being Monday. So I'm wondering, is there some specific thing in the occult that date in particular is important? Because why are you so persistent on Monday? Of all days. Why not wait a week then? You know, why does it have to be Monday? Oh, I said no to Monday because they were so persistent. Yeah, I too many red flags and too many different excuses. And now the fact my number is completely blocked from even calling the hospital. That's this has never happened in my entire life. This doesn't make any sense. The only thing is, I told them I'll be in the class. And that's what yeah. So if you don't think, if you think you know all the parties involved in this fucked up cult, you are sadly mistaken. I can't help but laugh, you know. It's either laugh, scream, be destructive, and I refuse to be destructive. I'm not a violent person. It's appalling that that's what you put in there, but you know, they had to have legit reason, even though it's bullshit. This is insane. But what's great is when I do report them, I'm going to let them in. I'm going to put in the report also to listen to the phone conversations that were recorded, because the hospital records all conversations for quality and whatever control purposes, something like that. So in the recordings, they will hear me tell the doctor and the doctor last week about me and then today when I told the supervisor, it was after I told the supervisor what I told her about the past, that she did this. Tell me they're not involved. Tell me they weren't going to try and unalive me. Please fucking tell me that. I know they were. I fucking know. I had my tubes tied at a fucking day surgery place, and the day surgery isn't equipped to do the surgery? What, do they not have the stuff for IVs? Do they not have the surgical, like the tools like the scalpels? Does the day surgery place not have those? Does the day surgery place not have the medication to put you, not even sedate you all the way? They don't have that either? Are they missing the beds for the patients to lay on during surgery? I mean, I'll lay on the floor. I mean, you know what I mean? The dumbest shit. Oh, it's not equipped for your surgery that you're having. What all entails with my surgery that I'm supposed to be having. Scalpels, the surgical tools, obviously. I mean, it's a day surgery, right? Yeah. And I mean, not even really any just scalpel. Things to sew you up. With the IV stuff. The pain medicine afterwards, if I would have needed it. Probably not. And, oh yeah, the anesthesia. And of course the bed and the room. But you would think the day surgery place would have all that, right? And that should make them equipped to do this basic surgery, wouldn't it? But why? Oh, why? All of a sudden why would the anesthesiologist be worried that they wouldn't be able to control my pain after surgery? They're just doing the incision, taking it out, and sewing me. I have been stabbed in the knee with a metal, the corner of a metal, at a restaurant, those metal fan things that go over the stoves at like fast food restaurants and that. I've been stabbed in the knee with the corner of one of those when I went scrapping with one of my exes. I had to have stitches. I don't think it would have been any more pain than that. Hello. But I think that's probably all the pain it would have been, So, and then the other excuse, them not being equipped to do my type of surgery. I'm confused on how they would be equipped to do, just this type of surgery. If that was the case, why would they even offer me? Why would they tell me I could just do it at the day surgery? Even last week, she was saying that I asked, let's do it at the hospital. That she said no, it didn't need to be done at the hospital because it was not that serious. And then yesterday, yeah. Well, as much as I want this surgery because I hate this thing, it's annoying as fuck. And it hurts a little bit here and there, poking out my stomach. I guess being alive is more important. Staying alive is probably more important than the surgery, don't you think? Yeah. Pretty sure staying alive is more important than the surgery. I mean, just saying. And with them blocking my number from being able to call even the hospital or any other building, any other doctor's office or building associated with that facility, or that hospital, that says a whole lot. So, I called today to try and work something out to possibly do I know it's stupid after everything I thought, but my thinking process is maybe I was overthinking. Maybe, because of everything. So I called the supervisor. And I explained and even told her something that happened. And I told her I was in the house. And then while I'm explaining to this, she's like, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but you're no longer a patient, blah, 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 blah. She hung up. And then I tried to call to get my records, because it was shortly after that I got a letter on the app. Supposedly from the doctor, but it came from her. Just had the doctor's name at the bottom. Saying that they were, unfortunately, they were going to have to terminate me as a patient for my outburst and violent behavior. For my outburst and violent behavior after I told her about something that happened to me, that was done to me, and that I was in the hospital. And then I called the records department to get my files, and I got the number cannot be completed. I called. Obviously, I just called to show you. The hospital, any doctor's office affiliated with the hospital, anything to do with that hospital, my number is blocked from calling. Never in my entire life has anything like this. This is insane. This is so illegal. The number of legal problems right now that these people are going to have. Also, to terminate a patient when they have an outburst based on trauma from their past, and you're aware that they have trauma from their past, or they explain to you, and you do it anyway because it happened after I told her, that is malpractice. Yeah. I called on my regular phone just now, and then I copied the number, pasted it to my text now, and it went through. Oh yeah. No joke. I am going to be filing. I'm calling the place tomorrow to file to tell them about, file a complaint about the hospital itself. Because I was told to do that when I called to talk to the medical board about the doctor, to file a complaint against him too. And I explained yeah. They can't legally tell me yes, no, don't, yeah, do it, don't do it, but yeah. I looked it up, yeah. And then it says, he would be my doctor for 30 days on emergencies, right? Emergencies only. But yeah, my number is blocked from even calling. Any doctor's office that is affiliated with that hospital, the records, any number affiliated with that hospital. I have a backup. I have a text now. Like, this is crazy. This is nuts. Like, I can't call any other doctor's offices to get a different doctor. Nothing. Yeah. My number, Welly Cornell Medical Center. New York Presbyterian Hospital, Welly Cornell Medical Center. That whole hospital and any office affiliated with that hospital, my number is blocked from calling. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But I called in on my backup phone number and it works. This is completely fucking nuts. And to the letter that was sent to me from the supervisor in the doctor's office, but it says the doctor's name at the bottom. It's not signed, nor was it sent to be certified mail, saying that unfortunately we have to terminate you as a patient for your outburst of violent behavior. What? and I'm sitting in my bed when I was on the phone with them. What the fuck? This is fucking nuts. Never in my fucking... I'm not a violent person. Let's get that out of the way, but never in my motherfucking life. These people are stupid. I will have it out when I know I'm safe to have it out. Clearly, I wasn't safe to have it out with that doctor, was I? Because after he found out about me and the files, he said he needed me to do a liquid diet for 24 hours before I had surgery. Or else the anesthesiologist would cancel the surgery. That's what he said. I said, okay. Can I have ice cream? He's like, yeah, just nothing solid. Okay. A liquid diet's supposed to be clear liquids, isn't it? Yeah. Then you think, well, 24 hours before surgery, only liquids, right? And then nothing after midnight. What happens if a patient passes away on an operating table and there's nothing that they had other than liquids for 24 hours before surgery and then nothing after midnight? Not much to clean up, is it? Also, changing me that I had to go and have my surgery scheduled for Monday at the main hospital? The first excuse was the the anesthesiologist was afraid they wouldn't be able to control my pain after surgery. Okay. That turned out to be BS because I called pre-op. They looked my information up and they questioned. They're like, so Annabelle told you that? I'm like, yeah. They're like, we'll have somebody call you back. They were very confused. So I called, and when I talked to the supervisor about this, she said, and when because I told her that they told me, and they were very confused. Doesn't seem right. She then tells me, oh, well, it's because the day surgery place isn't equipped to do your surgery. What? How is... And mind you, all they were doing, not even putting me completely out, but putting me in twilight. Whatever. Gonna go through the incision, take the stimulator out, because it's like in a little pocket, sew me up, and that was it. Now, day surgery place is right across the street from the hospital, right? Because that's what he told me. The doctor, Xanagar, told me. So if that's the case, the only thing I could think of, because of the liquid diet and that kind of thing, well, we all know. We all know by now, right? The easiest way to get someone to the morgue, would it be if the patient had surgery at the hospital or across the street at the day surgery? And you wouldn't have much to clean up either if the patient only had a liquids for 24 hours before surgery and nothing after midnight. At first I thought maybe, when I woke up this morning, I thought maybe I made too much of it. I thought maybe, with everything going on, maybe I was overthinking. And that's what I called, and that's when everything happened. Now I'm completely blocked from being able to call the hospital or any office associated with that hospital. New York Presbyterian Hospital, Welly Cornell. I cannot call any office associated with that hospital. No, doc, nothing. My number is blocked. That's completely insane and illegal. Well, when they're part of the Illuminati, you tell me. Or maybe they're in the files or something, Why would, after I tell the supervisor of the doctor's office, why after I tell her one of the experiences I had to try and explain to her why the outburst happened and everything, because of miscommunication and everything else, why would she then say, well, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but you're no longer a patient here, and then send me the letter saying that, supposedly from the doctor saying I'm no longer a patient. Unfortunately, they don't do this very often, but because of my outburst and violent behavior. Outburst and violent behavior. While I'm here in Staten Island, and that's in Upper East Side Manhattan. Staten Island, and I'm sitting here in bed on the phone with these motherfuckers. outburst and violent. Yeah, the outburst, but it's completely insane. It's fucking never in my fucking life. I'm not a violent person. Listen to the mother, I hope when I report this, I hope they listen to the recordings of the conversations, because they will hear me tell them about me being in the files, and then them telling me about a liquid dye before surgery, and then how they changed everything 2 days before surgery, and how I did call pre-op, and they seemed very confused, and then today telling the supervisor about one of the things from my past. And that's when she said yeah, no. And then my number all of a sudden is blocked from the hospital. The doctor, any office that has to do with that hospital. Tell me there's not something weird going on. Tell me this is not happening. This is insane. Never have I ever had something like this happen. It's absolutely disgusting and appalling that I'm this is defamation of character. This is a lot of fucking fucked up shit. My violent behavior. Okay, please prove my violent behavior. I'm on the cameras. There's recordings of me in that hospital, in that office. They can ask all the staff there when they saw me, when they met me, how did I act? Yeah. Well, hello. But yeah. I'm sorry. How many people have ever been blocked? How many people have you ever come across or ever heard of? This could go in the Guinness Book of World Records. First person to ever be blocked from calling a hospital, doctor's offices, or any office connected to said hospital. I could probably go in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first person to have this happen to. This is insane. Never. This is fucking insane. It's fucking nuts. It's Guinness Book of World Records first person to ever fucking be blocked by a fucking medical facility and all the facilities connected to it. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? It was done intentionally, I don't know if the date on Monday is very significant. Oh, I'm good. I'm confused as fuck. Tell me something. Have you ever heard of a hospital, a medical facility, and all the offices and doctors connected, and any office connected to the that medical facility blocking a patient's phone number so they cannot call any of the facilities connected to said hospital or any of the doctors, not even to request records? I ever hear of that? Hi, now you have. Yeah, me. Yeah. No joke. My number is blocked from calling the hospital or any office connected to New York Presbyterian Hospital. Obviously, I mean, Jesus. There's no that I didn't get trespassed. I was not trespassed. I have not been there since I had my pre-op appointment. I have not received any letter, nothing. Nothing. Furthermore, the doctor's office that has to be available for me to contact for 30 days. And they decided I was no longer going to be a patient after I talked to the supervisor and told her something that happened to me as to why sometimes I react the way I do when it comes to doctors and doctors' offices and hospitals. No, because it's illegal. Because legally, if you know that a person has had trauma and that would be why they would have, if that would cause the outburst, they are legally not allowed to do that. Especially when provoked and they knew exactly what they were doing. When you went to lie in the paperwork, saying that I had violent behavior, and I'm here in my home on my bed. That doesn't match up. How am I going to have violent behavior if I'm not even in there? Nor am I a violent person. That is defamation of character. They did this after I told them. So Fluffins, how long have you been on my journey? I mean, some people have been 2 years and then they, let it slip by a stupid comment or question. And they slip up. Don't they? Because you doing that? Yeah, no. No, Sherry Tits, it don't work. I've already called the medical board and explained everything that happened. And I've looked up the laws. You seem to forget I'm in school for criminal justice and study. Yeah. So you want to try again? I'll wait. Thank you. She's been here for a while. Yeah. Because by law, even if it was a legitimate reason, number one, it has to be a certified letter signed by the doctor, sent to me. They can't do it through the app, but that's not how they usually do it because of legal reasons. Number two, when they are aware that a patient has had a lot of trauma and they may have an outburst because of certain reasons, because, for me, hospitals give me fight or flight mode, and the doctor was aware of this last week when I told him about the files, about me and, so he was aware of this. After he was told this, he told me I needed to do the liquid diet for 24 hours before surgery. Nothing solid. But on my paperwork, it says I can even have a sip of water that morning with my medication. No food or drinks after midnight. So him telling me that number one, that's red flag about the liquid diet. Number two, the type of surgery I have is very basic. I wouldn't even be unconscious. But what they did was very illegal. It's malpractice, and the whole thing with me being blocked from contacting any of the facilities and that, when I did absolutely nothing wrong, that is a very, very big problem for them. And they know it. But they are very stupid. But the only reason, because I've never had this has never happened to me in my entire fucking life. Ever. Oh, yes, indeed I do. Because not only is it defamation of character, because I'm not a violent person. I've said many times, even the people that have hurt me as badly as they did, I don't condone violence. I want them to pay legally for what they did, but I would never be violent. That's not me. Nor have I ever been. And then the outburst, well, that's understandable when you're doing this and you know you know about it and what happened to me and you're still doing this. And you're giving me different BS excuses and I'm calling and checking and then the pre-op team, they're confused as fuck. Yeah, this doesn't make it, no. And then saying that the day surgery place ain't equipped to do my type of surgery. What are they missing? The scalpels? The needle and thread? What are they missing? I can stop at the Dollar Tree or something and pick it up for them. Shit. Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuckery? You know? This is what the fuck? Lord have mercy. Never have I motherfucking ever. I don't. And that's supposed to be the best hospital in New York. Unless you tell them the truth about your past and you're me, then it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, fuck it, why not? I can find the shit at the Dollar Tree. I'm sure they have needle, thread. I'm sure they have a scalpel in the arts and crafts section. You know, fuck it, I'll bring all the shit. Just, give me some really good, get me 1,000 milligram gummy or some shit. I'll do it. Have somebody do the surgery for me. Shit. I can't. I'll do the surgery on myself. Shit. Like, what the fuck? Shit. This is absolutely fucking insane. I want to see because the app is on here, so I took screenshots of the letter. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up on here through my photos or whatever, because this is completely insane. And this is after I explained a very traumatic event that happened to me, and that's why my fight or flight when it comes to doctors, hospitals, and that kind of thing. And I was crying when I told her this. Okay? No outbreak. I don't. Fuck. I don't even. Like, what the fuck? And anybody that knows me, they would be like, what the fuck? Because, like, yeah. So, let's see if it pops up. No, I don't think it's going to. Maybe? Maybe not. Yeah, it didn't pop up shit. I wish it had. Damn it. But yeah. It's fucking insane. I have never. And, like. What the fuck? And then the administration office that's supposed to help patients says there's nothing they could do. They told me yesterday there was nothing they could do. Just like today, when I was able to get through. Sorry, there's nothing we could do. They terminated you. There's nothing we could do. The fuck? You didn't do anything yesterday and I hadn't been terminated until today. What the fuck are you talking about? And they told me I was terminated yesterday. For what? For what? Terminated as a patient for what? Because how was I terminated as a patient when I was not notified till today, this afternoon? Right? Interesting. Stupidity at its finest. Just fucking saying shit. This is fucking insane, Yeah, no. Also, even when a hospital trespasses you, they don't block your number. That's not a fucking thing. I don't know where that person got that fucking bullshit idea from. I've even confirmed that earlier when I talked to the medical board place, or the place I called to file a complaint against the doctor. And they actually emailed the thing to me so I could fill it out and mail it in or email it with evidence and that. This is absolutely appalling. Welcome to my world. Never have I ever. Never have I ever. It's fucking insane. So how's everybody else doing? Now that you've heard the insanity of my life as of lately, I'm still in shock about the whole being blocked from calling the hospital or anything. Like, what the fuck? And by law, it's supposed to be available to call for me, even the doctor, to talk to the doctor in an emergency situation for 30 days. Yet my number is blocked. Okay. Damn the stupidity. You know? Fuck's sakes. I can't wait to move out of this fucking hell. I hate New York. That's the truth. I fucking hate it here. There's too much negativity here. And, like, doctors' offices and any businesses, if you, like, especially if they know you're on disability or whatever, or you have food stamps or whatever, they talk down to you or if you're on Medicaid, they talk down to you and talk to you like you're fucking stupid. Well, I guess they would take me to, probably the hospital closest to my house. Ironically, that's the only hospital I've been to that I don't go into fight or flight mode. That I can actually, that I don't want to get the fuck out of as quickly as possible. That's the only hospital I've ever been to that I did not go into fight or flight mode. Which is very weird. Because every hospital I've ever been to, if I was in the ER for too long, in an ER room or what, like when I would be up in a room in a patient room, I was fine. Something about the ER room, it doesn't matter what ER it is, except the specific hospital close to my house, the closest one to my house. But every other hospital, I get like that, and I don't know why. I also don't know why. Well, I do know why now, but I don't know why I don't get like that there. It's weird. So. But I'm the type that waits. Like the time I ended up with rib fractures or rib contusions from bending over to time I shouldn't. I waited for 3 days before going to the ER. Yeah. Or the time I had a spider bite, I just thought it was a boil. I had that for almost a year before I went to the hospital. It turned out to be a black widow or a brown recluse spider bite that I had for about 10 months, something like that. I'm a freak of fucking nature. I can't help it. I survive shit nobody else would. I'm Wonder Woman. You know. Shit. So I think everybody that's in here should say hi. Let's not all be silent. Don't need nothing but a good time. Come on, say hi. We like it when people go, the interaction, right? It's cool. Hello, hello, hello. See, it's nice to interact. It's fun. Hello, Lisa. Hello. Your bestie boo. I love that. I love your name, by the way. Your bestie boo. Therese. Hello, Jessica Lynn. Hello, everyone. You've been taking daily notes is irritating you? Why? Hello, payroll mama. Oh, Lord have mercy. Hello, hello. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's not every day you find out that your number is completely blocked from calling any facility that's connected to New York Presbyterian Hospital. And that after you tell the supervisor of the surgeon's office why the outburst, because you have fight or flight mode and things like that because of very traumatic experience that you've had in the past and that you are in the files. And then you get a letter on the app saying that unfortunately they have to terminate you as a patient because of your outburst and violent behavior. And they don't do this often. The fuck? So yeah, my number is completely blocked from calling New York Presbyterian Hospital and any doctor's offices connected to it, or even the records department to request my records, all because I confessed as to one reason why I have problems with doctors and doctors' offices and hospitals, because they freak me the fuck out because of something that happened to me and about the files. And that's when I got the letter a little while after that from her, but it has the doctor's name at the bottom, terminating me as a patient for my outburst and violent behavior. I'm not a violent person. I don't condone violence. The only time I've ever been violent is when pushed into a corner and I say, let me go calm down. And you don't want me to let calm down? Yeah, violent behavior. I was sitting on my bed on the phone. And I was crying when I told her what I told her. I don't know. I don't think so. I did absolutely nothing wrong except tell them about something about the past and the fact that I'm in the fucking files. That's all I did. And then after I told the doctor, he told me I had to have a liquid diet and no solid foods for 24 hours before surgery. And then decides 2 days before I'm supposed to have surgery that they need to reschedule for Monday and have it at the main hospital. The first excuse was, well, the anesthesiologist is afraid they won't be able to control your pain after surgery. The surgery, right? To take the stimulator out. They weren't even going to sedate me completely. I would be in twilight stage. Just open up where the incision was before, take it out of the pocket, sew me back up. I'm good to go. I could even go back to the gym in 2 days after surgery, they told me. But the anesthesiologist is worried that they won't be able to control my pain after surgery. Okay, but you just wanted to prescribe me Tylenol, ibuprofen, and gabapentin. But the anesthesia... Okay. That doesn't make sense, does it? So I call I call and talk to pre-op. I give them my information. I tell them Anastasia told me this. And they look my information up and they're like, well, give me your information. I looked it up and Anastasia told you that? Very confused. I was like, yeah. We'll have somebody call you back. Nobody ever called me back. I called back to the doctor's office and I talked to the supervisor. That's when she tells me that the day surgery isn't equipped to handle the surgery I'm having. Do they want me to stop at the Dollar Tree and get the scalp? What do they need? A scalpel? A needle thread? Do they need a bed? I mean, I can lay on the floor while they do it if they need a bed. I don't know. What do you mean they're not equipped to do that? You know. Okay. Yeah. And now my number is completely blocked from the hospital, that doctor's office, and any office connected to that hospital. And I have a bullshit letter with discriminating, with defamation of character. We don't do this often, and unfortunately, we can no longer have you as a patient because of your outburst and violent behavior. Okay. Sure. Never in my entire life have I ever. Never. The fuck? What? Yeah, what the fuck? But you know what? I am glad it's canceled, and I'm glad, this is a lawsuit. There's no doubt about it, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to be doing full extent everything. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, because this is completely fucking insane. What the fuck? Never in my fucking wildest imagination did I ever think something like this would happen. I am not a violent motherfucking person. And when I end up being violent, which I have more self-control now than I used to, but I've never been violent, I've always had self-control. The only time I've ever been any type of violent is when pushed to be. I give people, stop, let me go calm down, and then I'll come back, we'll talk. Let me calm down, I'll come back, we'll talk. Some people don't like to listen. And when I warn them 10, 15 times, and they will not leave me alone, and I'm trying to walk off, and they don't leave me alone, and they back me into a corner, well, one got her jaw dislocated. I'm not a violent person, unless you put me to be. Unless you push me to that point. But that was a very long time ago. That was like in 2000, 2001. I have a lot of self-control. I am not violent. I don't wish violence on anybody. I want those people to pay for what they did, but I want it to be legally. But them saying they are no longer going to see me as a patient for the BS excuse of the outburst and violent behavior is appalling. Well, I did run over my first ex-husband's foot because he was abusive, and it was for my safety. I was trying to get away, and he broke the back window, and my daughter was sitting in that seat that he broke the window of. I'm not a violent person, though. I don't know violence. I don't like violence. I'm more peaceful, want to be happy, have a good time, whatnot. You know what I mean? And when I get like that, I prefer to go to the gym or work out. That actually helps with my stress and things like that, and helps me clear my head. I like working out. I was so excited to get this goddamn stimulator out so I could work out properly. And now I gotta wait even longer. And I don't know when I'm going to have it done. I've never been to one. I would love to go one, and I think it might do me some good, because here's the thing. All the anger I have, and then that I have a tendency to shove everything way, way down. Way down. My daughter was about 2. It was my oldest daughter. She was 2. Yeah, and congrats, I'm happy to hear that. It's amazing. My thing is, I've always been forced to hide my emotions and shove everything down, and then, because I don't know what else to do, the way my life has been, so I just keep everything inside. And so, when I do explode, it can be somebody saying the wrong thing. Just something stupid. It can be the dumbest shit, and it just triggers. It's like, I can't explain it. But when I explode, I don't become violent. I just yell and scream and holler and cry, I think. But that's about it. I don't damage anything. I'm not violent. I never have been. Violence never solves anything. Just my opinion. Believe me, there's been too much violence in my life that it doesn't solve anything, and it just, of course, the violence was done to me. There's a difference. But even with what they did, and the ones that did what they did, whoever, I don't wish them any harm. I want them to pay for what they did. I want them to go to prison. I want them to spend the rest of their lives in prison. But I don't want them to be harmed physically. Because 2 wrongs don't make a right. And I've seen a lot of people wanting to drag these monsters into the street and all this, and the guillotine, all this shit, right? Stem, start, all that shit. What the fuck does that solve? What exactly would that solve? And how would they pay for what they've done then? When you do that, their punishment is over very quickly. They're not paying anymore. To really make someone pay for what they've done, you put them away in prison for a very long time, the rest of their lives. That's how they pay for what they've done. Because you do it very quickly and then it's over, and the only people paying is the survivors. Until they heal. And it's some, yeah. But, think about this. You could do that, get it over and done with, right? Or, put them in prison. Or better yet, think about it. What about Alligator Alcatraz? Or, those ICE detainment centers, why not take the people that are in there that should not be in there and put those monsters in those places? Put the monsters in the FEMA camps. Put the monsters in the alligator Alcatraz. Put the monsters in there, in those places. It would be the last time they did anything like that. They would never do it again if they were in those places forever, for the rest of their lives. Would they? Think about it. You gotta be very strategic. That's how punishment and how justice is served. You're very strategic. You don't want to be done and over with, because that's why it's done and over with. They'll never do it again because they're no longer here. Yeah, they're no longer here, so they're no longer paying for what they did. Too quickly. Too quickly they pay for it. It's over, You put the monsters in these cages. In the cages and in these places. Right? Think about how these people in ICE detainment centers are being treated. Put these monsters in those places instead of the people that are in there, because they did nothing wrong. They didn't do anything differently than the people that came here from other countries that made America, if you think about it. Put the monsters in these places instead and treat them the same way they're treating these people that are in there currently. Or worse. That's how you make them pay for what they've done. You hit them where it hurts the most. Their freedoms, their reputations, and their pocketbooks. That's where it hurts them the most. Take their freedoms. Take everything they own. Take everything away from them. You take all their reputations. They love their reputations. It's all about appearances to them. Every one of them, even the ones that are not in the elite. Because the higher up members are not the elite. The highest of the high members are middle class. So they will appear to be middle class, struggling. You will never know they have money. They will live in squalor sometimes. You will never know they have money. But they do. You have doctors, reverends, pastors, preachers. Not just politicians and celebrities and shit like that. Not just the elite. Judges, lawyers, CPS, FBI, CIA, all of them. But here's the truth. Law enforcement, FBI, CIA, and all that are protecting them, the lapdogs. These motherfuckers think that they are actually members and now on the same level. And they make them think that because that way they get protected. They're fools. And the only power these monsters have is the power that everybody has given them. Take the movie Ants. For example, the one ant stood up to the grasshopper guy, right? One of the bigger insects, right? And then later on, the higher up fucker insect, whatever, was complaining about it, and then one of the other grasshoppers, crickets, whatever the fuck it was, well, it's just one ant. What's the big deal? What did the other one say? It was one, yes. But if they all realized and actually if they all stopped the division and come together and all stood up against us, we would be done. We would be done for. If we all put our differences aside and stop letting them divide us, it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's all pushed onto us to make us believe that we're supposed to hate each other and the differences and everything. Truth be told, it's all a fucking illusion, just like fear. Just like the illusion that these motherfuckers have any power whatsoever. I have more power in my pinky finger than they do in their entire bodies combined. Okay? It's a fucking illusion. Yeah, if it was that easy. But here, tell me something. How do you know who all of them are? You will never know who all of them are. I would love for all of them to be taken out. Trust me. But you will never know who all of them are. There are many that have good reputations, that everybody think are amazing, great people, that you would never think for 1 second would do anything to hurt anyone. And I know this because I know someone like that. The guy that I grew up with as my stepbrother who raped me for 3 years. Everybody thinks he's this amazing person. He owns the only 24-hour gardening store in Grove, Oklahoma. He's so kind and friendly to everybody. Well, you know what he's doing that nobody knows? I was only the first. He's done it to his own daughter, my daughter, Brad's daughter, his ex-wife's daughter, and he continues. And everybody thinks he's this wonderful fucking person. And he's protected, because Linda protects him. Everybody thinks Linda's this wonderful person. And then I'm the one who's the horrible person. I'm the bad one. They're the good ones, according to everybody. So if you think you can figure out who they all are, please do. But I can guarantee you won't. Because you're going to have to look in 17 countries, because that's the 17, they control 17 countries. So start looking, because you got a big job ahead of you. Trust me, I want them to go down as much as anybody. I'm just not a violent person, and I don't condone violence, and I think the best way for them to pay is to go away for the rest of their lives. Because then they suffer. They don't suffer if it's quick and get it over and done with. They suffer when it's long term. You want them to suffer, you gotta do it the right way, the proper way, the correct way. Not quick and easy. You put them away in cages, like they did the children. Like they did all of us. Do you want to know how old I was when it stopped, most likely? I don't have many memories, but I'm pretty sure because of the timing of everything, I think I know when it stopped for me. When they stopped doing it with me. You want to know how old I was? What year? You'd never begin to imagine. I was kidnapped when I was a child and trafficked, and I was kidnapped specifically to be trafficked. They tried to sacrifice me. I escaped. I'm in their fucking book. They're terrified of me. I was raised in the leader's family. The person that kidnapped me was her granddaughter. They called her grandmother Hayden. It probably continued with me till 2017. I would have been 37, 36, 37 years old. I was kidnapped when I was little. I remember the person was wearing a gray coat or a gray suit. It was a tweed jacket. They had a gray hat that dipped in the center with a red feather on the right side of it. There was a white building on the side of me. I was running towards the front of it. And the person had an orange safety sucker and short dark hair. It depends on what my real identity is. I'm about 90-95% sure I'm Catrice Lee, but I won't know for certain until I do a DNA test, and I gotta go over there to do it. But if it turns out I am, then I would have been 2. Catrice Lee went missing on November 28th, 1981, from the Nafi in West Germany, near the military base, on her 2nd birthday. Yeah. Somehow I ended up outside. The sketch of the suspect looks exactly like the person who I grew up calling who I believed was my biological mother. Have you seen the sketch? I'll show you. So, it's okay. I'm dealing. I'm processing. I've been poisoned, drugged. I take the most medications. At one time, I was made to take 100 pills a day. The end of January 2023. No, they're part of that cult. They're free. They're part of that cult. The great-grandmother was Alta Aryan. Alta and Howard Aryan. They called Alta grandmother Hayden. They're protected. See, this is me. And on the back there was a number 6776, and I took pictures of it. I took a video of me getting it off of there. I looked it up, and 6776 for the occult would be they binded something to me, like a demonic entity or something. I would have been if I'm Catrice Lee, I would have been kidnapped from West Germany. See, Bob and Carol, who I grew up knowing as my aunt and uncle, he was stationed over there at that time, because he was in the army. And so they were over there, and it was 2 days after Thanksgiving. And the family could have gone over there for Thanksgiving to celebrate with them, because they get together every Thanksgiving, or at least they used to. I went to school. I didn't end up in that family until probably September 1985 or maybe spring of 86, because I remember the first memory I have with them. I remember I was running down the street and I remember I was terrified. I ran down, I ran up, and I ran all the way up, and I got up, I went across the busy street, and I got to the elementary school. Before I got up to the doors, Linda caught up with me in the car. She got me in the car, beat me on the way back to the house. Got me in the house where it continued, and then the next thing I remember, I was in the shower with the man I grew up knowing as my uncle, who would have been her brother. I was standing at the back of the shower, and he was at the front, messing with the faucets. And then the next one I have after that is I couldn't stop urinating because I don't know why, but they had to put me in diapers till they took me to a doctor to have a shot put in my hip. That was the first time I tried to escape, I think. And then another time, Sue left the car running, and I was in the car, and I tried to drive it, and I drove it through the garage door. And then another time, I have 2 daughters. They're adults now, but they believe the lies that have been told about me. They were stolen from me. CPS kept coming to my house because they kept getting phone calls, but they never took my daughters from me. When my ex-husband found out that CPS wasn't going to take my kids, he then convinced 2 people to lie to me. One came over one day to my home and told me that she heard my ex talking to his girlfriend that he was going to break into my home and unalive me and take my daughters to California. So, a couple days after that, I ran into Betty, who I thought was a mutual friend. Oh my God, Heather, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I told her, oh my God, I'll take the kids, don't worry. Johnny won't know where they are, they'll be safe. She got the kids on a Friday. Called my kids several times. I gave her $100 bill, a gallon of milk, toys, clothes. And I was going to go that Monday to get the restraining order. Talked to my kids several times on Saturday. It was the first time ever away from my kids like that. And then I called, I was getting ready to call Sunday. She called me. And she's like, I need you to sign power of attorney papers for the kids in case I need to take them to the doctor. I said, let me call you back. I told Terry, who I was dating at the time, and he said, call her back now, get the kids back right now. I called. And I called, and I called, and I called, and no answer. 2 hours. Finally, she answered. They took the kids. And who the fuck took my kids? CPS and the police. I bet it was your dad and Lynn, Sue's husband, and Lynn. Well, when you were up the way I did, what am I supposed to do? You're conditioned. So, I told Terry, and we got in Darren's vehicle and went over to the house. Terry got in the house before I did, and if I hadn't gotten in there when I did, Terry would have been going back to prison. They were 2 and 3. Last time I saw my youngest, she was 3. And until my daughter was 16, my oldest was 16. The last time I had seen her was she was 4. And then she found me on Insta when she was 16. And I was so happy. My ex then, my last ex at the time. My last ex is who I was with at the time. We went from Colorado to Canton, Ohio, where he was from, and we stayed at the Canton Inn. Oh my god, they got that place finally fucking condemned. It should have been condemned long ago. It's horrible. Rocha Festa Motel, but we did the best we could, you know. At least we weren't sleeping in the car. That kind of thing. But he's an asshole. Anyways, every Monday I would drive 8 hours round trip to see my daughter for a half hour. At first, it was a half hour. And every time I would go, she would always ask me to bring her stuff. And I always brought her everything she asked me to bring her. And I got to the point where I would drive 8 hours round trip just to see her for 5 minutes. Then in 2022, eventually, supposedly her stepmom, her adoptive mom found the phone that I got her. I had no idea, I got it because she said she wanted to keep in contact with me. I didn't know what she was really doing. Trust to believe I wouldn't have gotten her the phone. I had to think about that. But then so that was that. And then the next time I talked to her was when she was 19. And in 2022, when she was 19, Linda and I went to Indiana, got her, took her back, and everything was great. She stayed with us, everything was great at first. Then slowly it just went very, very bad. And so I don't have a relationship with either one of my daughters. They believe the lies that they've been told. But when I was going through the whole thing with CPS, I called CPS and I told, everything. Come to find out, the last call came from Betty's house. She told them she didn't know my last name, didn't know how to get a hold of me, and I just gave her my kids and abandoned them. I almost went to jail for abandoning my children. So I ended up having to do UAs 3 times a week. Passed every one of them. Did everything I was supposed to do. Had to do a psych evaluation. I did the psych evaluation. Now here's where the thing with the schizophrenia comes in that people don't seem to quite realize. Terry, in all his fucking wisdom, tells me, lie and lie consistently. They'll feel bad for you and you'll get the kids back. All his wisdom. So I did. I lied and I lied consistently, and it said I had schizophrenia and this, that, and the other. So that's where those diagnoses came from. However, I still did everything I was supposed to, and that kind of thing, and I think evidently the judge knew that something was very amiss with the psych evaluation. But I didn't know that until a couple years later, because right before the court hearing, like a week before the last court hearing, Donna Haynes, CPS worker from Weld County in Greeley, Colorado, she was all for my ex-husband getting my children and me not. By the way, let's put that there too. Obviously, we know what CPS does and that, but calls me in her office. Wouldn't let Terry back there. We're not married. Not my children's fathers, I go in her office. She puts a picture of my youngest daughter down on the table in front of me, and I just started crying. And she says, now don't you want those girls to have a life you can never give them? And she said the judge was going to terminate my rights and it was better to relinquish them. And I believed her, and because I wanted what was best for my kids. And I believed her. So I went to the final court hearing, and the judge asked me if I signed the papers under coercion or distress, and I said, no, I just want what's best for my kids. That was it. And then a couple years later, though, I found out if I hadn't signed those papers, I was going to get my kids back at that court hearing. If I had only refused to sign the paperwork, I would have had my kids back. But I believed the fucking caseworker. So I was literally tricked, coerced, whatever you want to call it, into signing over my rights to my children. I was lied to for them to, for me to have my tubes tied. They lied to me. And then when I had my hysterectomy, it's because they lied to me. I had horrible pregnancies, but it's because I didn't know why, but obviously because of my childhood. But after I had a couple minutes after I had my youngest, they told me that the placenta was stuck to my uterus and they had to go in manually to take it out. The most painful thing in the fucking world. Come to find out, not about last year or something, I found this out. They were it wasn't supposed to be painful because they were supposed to have that epidural on. They didn't. They did it intentionally. So then they said, the doctors told me that I needed to have my tubes tied because I had an 80% chance of not making it if I got pregnant again. I believed them. They're the doctors, right? They know what's best, right? I had my tubes tied. When I was, 2004. January 2004, I had my tubes tied. January, February was like six weeks on the dot after I had my youngest. And then it was about, see, I didn't breastfeed my daughter, so the end of summer of 2004, I started lactating and had the monthly thing for 3 months. Went in, they said I wasn't pregnant. They decided to do a laparoscopy to see what that was going on. I went in that morning. It was like 8, 9 o'clock when they took me into the operating room. And by the time I woke up, it was about 5:30 p.m. And I was in excruciating pain. And they told me it's because they put it in the camera. The camera went in one side of the uterus and not the other. And that's what was causing me so much pain. The lactating stopped after that. And then it was about maybe a year after that another doctor told me that he thought I had endometriosis on the inside of my uterus and they needed to do a biopsy, but they had to take my whole uterus to do it. So I had to have a hysterectomy. The first partial was in 2007. I had my first partial hysterectomy. The second one was because I was having some pain, didn't know why. They told me I had the cyst of the size of a golf ball or a baseball or something like that with blood in it on both ovaries. They needed to do a hysterectomy, to take them both. And they waited and waited and waited. Finally, they did it summer of 2012. I'm misdiagnosed with things like gastroparesis, and turns out I have diverticulitis. I was so sick because I was being poisoned by my ex when I was with him, or when I'd be at that house, I'd be poisoned by Linda. So, crawling back and forth from the bathroom to the bedroom. And I ended up losing over 100 pounds from November 2015 to August 2016, when I had my first surgery to have this stimulator. The one I have now is the second one, because I thought it wasn't working, so they replaced it. No, it's because I was being poisoned. Just like in 2022, the end of 2022. Started getting really sick again when I mentioned the memory about the person in the gray suit or whatever to Linda, and she went pale and said it was my imagination. It never happened. It was after that I started getting really sick and getting in excruciating pain. But I was going to West Palm Beach for New Year's Eve that year. And I decided I was going to just have the stimulator removed and enjoy whatever time I had left when I got back. Because they told me there was, they said that the stimulator could be working but not working for me, and it obviously wasn't, right? But it showed it was still working, so they would just remove it, and instead of me getting a feeding tube or whatever, I was just going to enjoy whatever time I had left. Hold on. Hold on, let me scroll. Linda's the one that adopted me in 1990 from her sister, Sue, who looks just like the sketch of the kidnapper that kidnapped Catrice Lee. So, I don't even remember. It's been a lot. There's been a lot. And I'm like, my brain is just like, we're not thinking anymore. Because I've repeated myself so many times. I think my brain's just like, no, enough is enough. But I'll show you the pictures. But so, 6776, that was on the back of this picture of me that I got off. If I had a dime for every time I was told that, I'd be rich. So the back of this picture of me had 6776 on it, and I looked it up, had would have to do with the occult. When the occult writes something like that on the back of your picture, of a picture of someone, it's binding some sort of entity or energy to that person. So with these people, it would be something evil and very dark. Especially if they're trying to keep me under control for whatever reason. They're terrified, I don't know. But also, there is another number on it, because I took the 6776 off the back of the picture to see what happened. And that was on, 2 days ago, the day before all this happened with the surgeon. That says something, doesn't it? So I looked up the number, what this would mean, the 1-8810. And it would be most likely a Masonic Child Temporary ID for an event. For a Masonic event. What do you think they do? The elites and all that, Yeah. This is the youngest picture I have of me. And by the looks of the pictures I have of my daughter and this picture, we look like I look about 3.5, 4 years old here. Because that's how old she is in the pictures that I have here, where she looks about the same age. Where's the picture? So, my oldest, about the same age in this picture as I am in this picture, she was 3.5 here. So I've been 3.5 this, right? This one says Heather, age 2. That's not the same person. This is not, these are 2 different children. Children? Children. Two different children. Shit. You get the picture, right? Okay, so, and as you can see, my daughters do look like me, right? Right? My daughters don't look like this. Shit. So, I never paid attention a lot to the pictures until starting putting pieces of the puzzle together and finding things out. This is Jack, who I grew up with as my grandfather. That's my daughter. I didn't notice her, I didn't pay attention to her face, real close to it. She looks like she's terrified. My daughter looks like she's terrified in this picture. Every time Jack held her, she would scream, and I never understood why. I thought he was a loving grandfather. I didn't know any better. They hid me in plain sight. If you came across me at a store, not knowing who the fuck I was, would you think it was a girl or a boy? Linda told me made me have my hair like this because she said I didn't take care of it. She always picked out my clothes. I wasn't even allowed to shave until high school, and that's because a friend of mine taught me. I said, this is in the house, so, obviously. But yeah, this is like my first year of high school. But even as an adult, she did this shit. Oh, I'll cut a couple inches off, and she'd just chop off all of it. So, trying to find that picture. Fucking. Sorry, I'm trying not to. Clearly, I'm angry, right? That's to be expected. So, this is Sue. I grew up knowing her as my biological mom. I was with her till 1989, and then we were taken to me and her son were taken to Texas, who I thought was my brother, that I took care of the first 2.5 years of his life, or however long he was with us. I don't even know if he's hers. That's the thing. I don't remember her being pregnant. All I remember is they told me I had to go stay at Paul Buell's because she was going to go have a baby. She's going to go have the baby. I don't remember her ever being pregnant. And the reason I narrowed down the year to September 1985 to maybe spring 86 is because I remember when I was running away, it was hot. It was warm. So I know in Iowa, it'd be hot either time. And because when I asked John, her husband, who always said that he met me when I was a kid, I said, when did you meet me? And he said, Oh, it was in 1985. Sue was pregnant with Brad. You were living in mobile home with Danny Shorey. I said, Brad was born in August 86. Oh, it must have been 86 then. So if that's the case, then it would have been 86 that they got me, correct? So I was like, what color was my hair? Red? Auburn? 1986. That's me. So this would have been taken probably in 83. There's no way he ever met me in 85 or 86. It wasn't me that he met. But he knew that. So, get my little handy dandy things here. I'm going to flip the camera so you can see it side by side. It's easier that way. So, once I flip it, bitch flip. Shit. Okay. This is Sue, right? Look. This is the suspect. Let me dim this. Sue, the suspect. And she always had short hair until after I was with them. That's when she started growing her hair out, was after they had me in their family. Now, let me see if I can find it. So, oh shit, where is that picture? Oh yeah, just for reference, this is who was living in Germany at the time. Looks like her, huh? And her and Sue look a lot alike with short hair like that. Only she was smaller, I think, in 1981, but then again, I don't know. She could have gained weight before 1980. I don't know. Like I said, but yeah. Let's see if I can find the picture. So, hang on. Probably just be quicker to type the fucking thing in. Yeah, probably be quicker that way. Hold on. Okay. So this is the age progression of Catrice Lee. And for reference, because I'm not taking my hair down right now, that's me. Me, age progression of Catrice Lee. So, it's crazy. But yeah, I am 95% sure. Still got that 5%. You know, I have a birthmark in the same spot. I have the mole on her face, she has one in the same spot. On her picture of where it shows her thumb, if you zoom in on it, it looks like she has a club thumb like I do. So, yeah. Let me flip this. So, yeah. It's been a bit. It's been a lot, you know. But I'm gonna keep moving forward until I prove who I really am, and you know. This is Catrice's sister. This is Catrice's mom. Her mom after the disappearance. Let's see if I have one of him on here too. No, I do. I have to. Somewhere. Um, you know what? I don't know, am I? I want to know, and I'm sure. I'm sure he would really like to know. Catrice was a British little girl, and she was born in Germany, Padelborn, Germany. Her parents relocated there because her father was a sergeant major in the Royal British Army, and her mom was pregnant with her, and she was born on the military base. And it's been over 44 years and he wants his daughter back. They all do. He said Catrice is a gift and he wants his gift back. So, I have recorded conversations between myself and FBI and police and Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and showing that they will not do anything to help me and giving me roadblocks. Hell, I did a DNA test to find out if I was dating Michelle Williams. It came back it wasn't. But they won't send the DNA over to the UK to have it tested? They won't. What the fuck? Why not? According to Texas, we'll have to have FBI do that, according to police. FBI has to be the ones to do that. Talk to FBI. Oh, you gotta call police for that. We don't do that. I've called Interpol, I've called FBI, I've called police, I've called every agency you can imagine over here, and nobody will do anything to help me. They want to help me over there, but I'm over here, and those agencies can't help me over there. I've contacted Operation Butte. I haven't heard anything back. I've emailed them pictures. I just want to know for sure. Then we can move forward with whatever. And if it turns out I'm not, then I move forward and I move on and I keep going and trying to find out who I really am. But if I am, then don't I and the family deserve to know either way? And if I am, don't we deserve to be reunited in that and those monsters pay for everything they did? I shouldn't have to go over there to find out if I'm her or not, but I have to. I don't have a choice. So if I don't, I'm never going to know. So I do have my ticket. I'm not saying when I'm leaving, clearly. But I do have the GoFundMe. I'm going to pay if you want to help out at all, because I got to pay for everything while I'm over there and a place to stay while I'm there and everything else till everything's sorted. And I appreciate the people that did help already. It went towards the ticket and that. But regardless if anybody else helps, I'm going to get over there. I'm going to do it on my own and everything if I need to. But they won't do their jobs here. You want these monsters to pay and pay for what they've done? You want to know what the key is to taking them down? It's me. Truth is, I was never supposed to be kidnapped. If it proves that I'm Catrice Lee, they go down. Hence the roadblocks. They all know exactly who the fuck I am. It's not, they know. That's why they had no problem finding out whether or not I was Tina Michelle Williams. But when it comes to Catrice Lee, roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. The fucked up thing is, finding out that you're in the files and not even knowing it, and how you find out is on TikTok. When people tell you the things you've talked about that you remember are in the fucking files that you've talked about for over a year and a half, 2 years, they're in the fucking files. The tunnels. Everybody wants to know, where's the entrance to the tunnels, right? That's easy. You just gotta find out what houses are owned by the Illuminati that have been turned into apartments. There will be 2 apartments in these houses, one downstairs, one upstairs. One member of that fucked up cult will be living on the first floor, most likely a woman. The upstairs apartment, however, will look like people live there. You go in the one bedroom, the biggest bedroom of the house, of the apartment. There will be like a canopy bed, or a child's bed of some sort, with children's sheets and bedding, obviously. Then there will be a big area full of toys, right? And then there will be steps going up, like 3 or 4 steps going up, and then there will be a landing. And then there's a door. The door and the landing, if you sit on the end of at the foot of the bed, you look right straight and up. There's the landing and the door, right eye level. Not eye level, but all you gotta do is look up. The bed will be centered perfectly in the center of the wall. You open that door. There are religious paintings on both sides of the walls that you will find in like a Sunday school classroom for children, with bright, pretty colors that are vibrant, that attract children, to distract the children when they're taken through the tunnels. And those apartments are always upstairs. Hello. Because who would think that tunnels, the entrance of them, would be upstairs? Nobody's going to think that. And the reason the member or the person lives on the first floor is to keep up appearances so there's no questions, because they always keep that front door of that house locked. So in order to get in through there, you have to either have a key or you have to ring the doorbell. And somebody will answer, the person on the first floor. Oh, they're not home upstairs. That's where the children are taken. Nobody ever lives in those apartments. That's where we were taken. And it's not just one place, there's many of them. Well, those are where they would find the entrances to the tunnels. Tunnels go down so far with the paintings, and then it turns into like rock walls. Like if you're going through a cave or something, if you've ever been to like Carlsbad Caverns or something like that, the rocks with the that would be like moisture would be on the rocks, maybe some water trickling down the rocks, but there would be lights on the top of the ceilings, of the top of the ceiling of the tunnel that you ended up going into. You get to that tunnel, that's where they put you in something and tie your hands and your ankles and your wrist to whatever they put you in, a wheelchair or something. And then you're wheeled to wherever. They did a lot to us. I have bits and pieces of memories. I'm still working on remembering things. It's like I don't remember a lot of my life. It's glimpses. That's what happens when you have so many substances that have been put in your body. You've been poisoned, you're over-medicated, and then trauma, your brain has a way of protecting you. Did they beat us? They did worse than that. Much worse. This isn't just about the Epstein files. You do know this, right? It's been going on for hundreds or thousands of years. The same shit. I remember the cave or whatever we were in. The basement, the cellar, whatever the fuck it was. There was a pillar that was made out of pebbles, like big pebble stones. They were smooth. There would be a pillar and then a fireplace. On the pillar, there was a torch that was lit. Then there was a pillar with a torch lit. Then a fireplace, and then there was 3 fireplaces. They were all lit. First time I had a memory of that was in my current 2023 in summer. That was the very first memory I had. of any of it. After I came back to being in my car from the time warp or whatever you want to call it, I threw up and I cried for a good 2.5 hours from what I saw. And I used to watch horror movies. So did they beat us? Huh. The whole cannibalism thing while the children were alive. Does that answer your question? We were kept in cages sometimes. In places. I've just had glimpses of cages, being kept in a cage and things like that. Like I said, I've gone over this so many times in my memories, and anybody that's watched for a long time will tell you nothing's changed of what I've said. Have a good night, too. Truth is, I don't care anymore if anybody believes me or not. I don't. Hey. I don't care if people record me. I don't care if people live stream me. I don't care what people say about me anymore. I just don't. Because I've been through everything I've already been through. You can't hurt me any more than I've already been through. And because I've explained it so many times and said and posted and I told it so many times, I think my brain is just like, no more. You've done enough. I guess in a way. People are either going to believe me or they're not, and I don't need to explain it anymore. Because one of the memories I had was today. And I know why I have problems with doctors and hospitals and things like that now. Why I go into fight or flight mode at ERs and hospitals. Why I don't trust doctors, medical staff. And it has to do with the memory I have about the 6 grown men in the green scrubs at this facility. I was the only one. It looked like it was in Denver, Colorado, and it looked like the building looked like it would have been may have been a hospital, but I don't think it was a hospital. It looked like a corporate building or something like that, like a business building. I don't remember going in. I remember the outside of it was white. It looked like a business building, and it looked like a hospital. I don't remember going in. I don't remember going to a room or anything. But what I do remember is I had a lot of testing done at this place. On a computer. On paper. Flashcards. Wires glued to my head at one point. But there was one memory in particular I couldn't figure out why, and I was questioning it for a long time. I remember being on the bed, and I was the only child on this floor, wherever I was. There was like a nurse's room or whatever, somewhere where the nurse would sit, but it was inside the room, but there was The best way I could put it is, you know when you get a CAT scan or something and they go in the room and they do the the flat with the pictures and that, right? For the CAT scans or x-rays or whatever. That's the type of room that whoever was in there, the adult would be in there with me. They would sit in that room and they would be watching me. I remember these 6 grown men in green scrubs were around my bed and they were holding me down and they were injecting me with something in my leg. And I didn't remember anything after that till today. And now, yeah, I know why I don't like doctors or medical staff. Because of what they did. And why I have this problem with hospitals and staying at them. So, yeah. And that's the number I told the supervisor at the surgeon's office about today. Before she wrote out that letter and sent it to me and then had my number blocked and all the, yeah. And releasing me as a patient for outburst in violent behavior. After I told her what I told her. To try to explain why I react the way I do when I told certain things, or when you're not upfront with me, or you want to tell me one thing and then don't do that shit. And why I'm the way I am when it comes to doctors and hospitals and that. And so that's what happened. Then I got the letter. She wrote the letter after that. So. So there's that. After that, I never want to see a doctor or go to a hospital again. Now that I know. Remember. So, how's everybody else? How's everybody else doing? Y'all doing good? Anybody got anything fun planned for this weekend? I wish I did, but I don't. I don't know what I'll do. But I do have to go down to my old doctor's office, and because I called them today, and I told them I'm going down there to get my files. They better be ready, and if I do not get them, I'm going to call the police, and I will get them. So. Anywho. Think about this. I don't know, You know, to be quite honest, I kind of feel like it's my fault that everything's been released. If you think about it, I predicted a year ago that it was all going to be revealed and released. and that they were all going to be exposed. I just say I predict to make it fun. I don't predict anything, it's just I say things and they happen. I don't control it. But, say something interesting. So, I don't wear chapstick, usually. Never had any problems, right? So, for the past few days, I had a cut right here. And I don't know if anybody saw it when I was trying to hide it. But it was really dark, it was pretty deep. And I noticed last night, because it was there yesterday morning. And now, there's nothing there. And it was split open. And if you look back at my videos and pay close attention, you can see it. How is it gone? Anybody? Now I know, chapstick and that, but you would need lip repair for this. Not just regular chapstick or even this. This is not going to repair it. But no, it went from being split open and dark, you can see it, to nothing's there. In one day. Any ideas? Well, you know how even my ex Robert, when he was on here before he was blocked, because I'm not stupid, he even said that I took pain away from him, right? What if after getting rid of that 6776 on the back of my picture, maybe that did something? Maybe that's why it's gone. Maybe I healed myself. Stranger things have happened, obviously. But if you go back and look at my videos, you can see that I had the thing right there. Matter of fact, let's see if I can find one. From like yesterday or something. Okay, let's make this a little brighter so I can see. Let's see. Maybe I know one from yesterday on here. I don't think I do. That's 2 days ago. Damn it. Yeah, I think I put the camera too far back, but yeah, 2 days ago. It looks like you can see right there. I'll take a screenshot and do it. Well, if I'm right, it's very interesting because it was split. It fucking hurt too. So it's very interesting. Let me tie this down. So this is from 2 days ago. Right there. You barely see it, but it's split open. And I had it this far back because I didn't want it showing. And now, 2 days ago, it was there. There's nothing. Can anybody explain it? strange, though. Actually, I wonder if it's on here. Right there. So yeah. My lip was split open and now it's completely fucking better and I don't know how it happened. Who knows? Crazy, huh? This whole fucking thing's crazy and I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to think anymore. But I'm ready for justice to be served and ready to prove who I really am and reunite with my real family, hopefully. And, I'm ready for them to burn. Just saying. All of them. But I think I'm gonna end this because I do need to, make a wish. It's 11:11. Till next time. Hope you all have a great night. But yeah. Never been blocked by a hospital and all the doctor's offices and shit for BS. But yeah. It'd be a lovely time. Anyways, y'all have a great night. Till next time. We'll see y'all later. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Just, there we go.